So we have 100% choice in our humanity, and 100% we must surrender to what is. But if we have 100% choice and 100% surrender at the same time, what happens when we actually feel like we're not choosing something and something is chosen for us? How do we show up in that? Hi, I'm Jordanna Eyre, founder of Modern Day Sorcerer. So I recently went through an experience in my becoming process where I have spent the last month plus in a situation, I suppose, that I really didn't consciously choose. As you may know, I travel a lot, and I came to Morocco back at the end of October. It's now early to mid-January. And I came to Morocco at the end of October feeling a calling inside of me to come here, but I did not know what was yet to unfold. And within that calling, I felt another calling when I arrived in the country to come up to Casablanca, this very large, bustling city with a very interesting energy. It's got the kind of energy where when I'm out connecting with people, I see how absolutely beautiful they are. And yet just the energy of the city itself is not my ideal place where I would live necessarily. Sorry if you live in Casa, but if you do, you know what I mean. So I came up to Casablanca upon guidance that I really needed to be here. And upon arriving, it all unfolded a lot of like the signs of this is why you need to be here. This is what's waiting for you. This is what's waiting for Modern Day Sorcerer and Sorcerer School. It all started to unfold. However, shortly after arriving, the circumstances started to change. So a lot had unfolded and like allowed me to settle in. And then as I settled in, everything changed. I spent about a week getting really, really sick out of the blue. I don't normally get sick. And then after that week of getting sick, it was my first day being well again. And I was doing something really silly. Like I was just plugging something in and standing on my sofa and jumped off of my sofa. And the way I jumped and something that I landed on that was below my sofa, I fell onto my ankle. Well, obviously, right? We fall on our feet. My grammar right now is amazing. When we fall on our feet, we do fall on our ankles, but my ankle, my foot kind of crumbled underneath, twisted, and I snapped a ligament, just bam, totally popped. And for those of you who have ever torn a ligament, you know it's actually pretty extreme. It's not fun. And as I fell down for the count, I knew that I was really down for the count. I knew that I was going to be in this thriving, bustling city, just me, myself, and I for the next while. And it's been a month now that I actually just got my cast off. I can kind of start to walk again. And during this period of time, I found myself in a place of feeling like I hadn't actually made the choice. I had surrendered to the guidance. I had followed the guidance, but I felt like, well, where's my choice in the matter? Like if I got to choose right now, I would be on a gorgeous tropical island. If I got to choose right now, I would be in tropical weather. If I got to choose right now, if I'm going to be in Casablanca, I'm going to be out working with the amazing people here, making an impact on this land. And it felt in so many ways like I hadn't been given a choice. So what do? When we feel like we haven't been given a choice, but actually we know it's the right choice. Actually, we know it's where we need to be. So then what? So I'm just going to walk you through a little bit of my process in showing you various ways that there are times that even though it's really important for us as humans to be 100% in choice around what we desire, we must also equally surrender. And there are times where we're actually called on a larger part to surrender, than we are to be in choice. And bear with me, because it actually comes back to the balance. So I fervently and fully surrendered. That's what I did. I said, all right, this is my time to lean completely into surrender. This is my time to know just how much I don't know, to remember that I don't actually know. So I let myself lean into that energy. I let myself kind of fall back into those arms of the universe, those arms of source, in knowing that the choice had to happen for a reason, that what was chosen for me had to be in my highest good. So that's where trust comes into play. It's really important for us to trust in times where the things don't all add up to looking like what we thought we wanted, to remember that we can always trust that nonetheless, we're actually getting what we wanted. We're actually getting what we asked for. So it's like, we might not think that we're choosing now in the moment, but what if what's happening now in the moment is actually a result of a previous choice you made? And I don't mean from a karmic standpoint, like, oh, you made your bed, now lie in it. I mean, what if what's happening now is actually the result of an intention you already set, of a desire you already had, and something you chose in that desire, and it's just now coming to fruition in a way that just looks different than what you thought? Because as we know, rarely do things actually come to fruition the way we think they will in the practical dynamics of things, right? Cliche, you can ask for what you want, but not for how, and it's so, so true. So I surrendered. I trusted. And then I leaned into what was there. It was like, well, what can I choose? What can I choose now? Well, I can choose more of a gentleness, more of a softness. Where's the growth? One big example of my growth in this journey is that it's really important to me, and big part of my practice, to always be coming back home to my body. And I felt very limited in my ability to do so. I couldn't walk. I couldn't dance. I couldn't go out to the beach even, because I was on a cast. It wouldn't have been very easy to hop down the beach on one foot. All I could really do was like tap on my body and meditate. Like there was very little activity that I could do. I did a few push-ups here and there with one leg up in the air, but that was like the bulk of like the physical activity to be able to get into my body. And my choice was there though. It was like, well, what's the lesson for me? What can I learn? Can I learn to be more embodied just by being, without needing to do anything to get there? Can I allow myself to surrender to this yin, feminine, flowy energy of the stillness that's being laid out before me, and the stillness that I've been given a choice but to partake in? So it's like, we may not feel like we choose, but can we choose what's there? So if we don't feel like we can choose in the moment, we can still choose something. There's always a choice available to us. And what we find is by creating through the energy of our desires, what we're doing is we're creating with the feeling of what we have now, and tapping into that feeling of what we do have now being what we desire, and allowing that to create our further desires. So say, for example, you want freedom. Can you feel where you do have freedom now, and allow that feeling to bring you to greater freedom? And so when we're faced with something laid out in front of us that doesn't seem like what we would have chosen, but is where we are today, what can we choose in that moment? And the choice may be to walk away. The choice may be, well, choose something else. The choice may be open yourself to grander possibility. Maybe you're limiting yourself in the possibility of what you think is available to you. But in this situation, and these situations do show up in our lives, I was quite aware that this was what was chosen for me, and that it was where I needed to be, even if it wasn't cognitively what I would have chosen or what I would have thought I would have chosen. So can we really choose what's still available? Look at what there is to choose. And don't just choose because it's there. It's not like, oh, I want chocolate ice cream and all this available is strawberry ice cream. Fine, whatever, I'll choose it. No, it's like, can I look at the strawberry ice cream and be like, okay, is that my choice? Do I desire it? It's here now. What is it in it that I desire? What aspect of it? Obviously, ice cream is not a very good example because it's one thing, but in this conglomeration of what seems to have been chosen for us, what can we choose that is our choice? What can we choose that is on the trajectory of what we were asking for in the first place? From there, when we do that, it actually brings us back home to greater choice. So what happens is, by surrendering to what we've chosen without knowing we were choosing it, to what was chosen for us, but also in a way our own choice, by surrendering to that, we then will get guided to come back to what's really, really true for us. There's an energy around that surrender in what has been chosen that allows us to kind of root back in. It's like realigns us with ourselves, energetically realigns us with ourselves. And in that, anything but energetically, right? It's like, well, duh. But in that realignment with ourselves, it brings us back home to a space where then we desire to choose further. We desire that fierceness of choice, that there's like a power in our choice that can come through, but we can't actually be in that full depth of power that wants to move through us in our choice until we've aligned with it and we can feel it inside. So by surrendering to the choice and then choosing what's there inside of what we didn't think we wanted, we can realign ourselves. That brings us back inside of who we really are. It brings us back into fulfillment, back into wholeness. And then when we're in that wholeness and fulfillment, we become more embodied again. We come back home to ourselves. We feel like ourselves again. And from that space, then we can be the creators. From that space, then we can stand in our power and really choose what's next. And we'll usually find that, like, when that happens, we're not choosing something different. It's not like, oh, well, I didn't want that to happen, so now I have to choose something totally different. No, it's usually like, okay, this is what I required. This is what I chose within the choice, or the lack of. And now I'm ready. It's like that will grow us. That surrender will grow us to be ready for fierceness of more choice, for power in additional choice, for creating what is now next for us. So it's pretty amazing, actually, how even when we don't feel like we're choosing, we have choice. And it comes right back to it being 100% about surrender and 100% about choice. And it takes that true balance to be a creator, to be that entrepreneur you want to be, or that high-level leader that you know you're meant to be, or that visionary, or that, really stepping into your calling in a greater way. It requires us to be completely in choice and surrender at the same time. So there we have it. All my love.